In this video, we will be discussing moving in 3D. If you'd like to follow along with this video, please open the file movingin3d.dwg located in the Working Files folder as discussed in the Working with this dataset video. You can use the 3D gizmo to relocate objects in 3D space. During the operation of the command, you select the objects to move and then select a plane by which to orient the Move Grip tool. If an existing plane is not selected, the Move Grip tool defaults to the XY plane of the current UCS. Let's look at a few examples of using the Move gizmo to move objects and sub-objects within 3D solids. Let's go ahead and first navigate to this area right here, and let's say we wanted to move this cylinder along the slope of this 3D solid here. If we select the object, notice how the Move gizmo appears, and that's because the Home tab, Selection Panel, and then the gizmo is set to the Move gizmo. Notice how it goes to the center of the object, which is fine. However, if you simply hover and then right-click over the 3D gizmo, you can relocate the gizmo to the plane about which you want to lock the specific axes to move it about. So let's first move it to the 3D center here, right-click in there, and choose Custom Gizmo. For the origin, we'll just go ahead and snap again there, and then for the point on the x-axis, we can shift right-click and choose a quadrant of that circle right there. For the XY plane, shift right-click, choose quadrant, and pick there. You now have the gizmo set to the temporary location and orientation of this 3D solid. What's great about this tool is notice how the UCS is still in the same exact plane. We haven't changed it. We're actually at the WCS. It does not matter. The gizmo allows you to move things along a specific axis. We can now lock this and even snap to the 3D midpoint there. We'll go ahead and go over here, and we'll go ahead and do a shift right click, choose midpoint, and grab it there, and now that cylinder is moved to the center point of this slope. Press Escape to clear your selection set. What's great about the 3D gizmo is it also works with sub-objects within a 3D solid. So notice how we have one solid component, however I've got this box here that happens to be a sub-object. If I hold the Control key down and select it, notice how the gizmo goes right to the center of that sub-component. Pretty cool. In this case, I just want to simply move it to the midpoint of this edge here, so I can pick this axis right there, shift right click, and choose midpoint, and then snap to the location like so. Pretty simple and pretty cool. What's also great about the gizmo is it does allow you to also select faces. If I hold the Control key down and select this, notice how it automatically selects the object. However, if I want to change the actual face over here, I simply Control click again. Notice how it's right there. I can also Control pick this one, and let's choose the axis here to lock it, and let's type a distance in of 50, press enter. Pretty neat. It allows you to just stretch that very quickly, and you can do both sides at the same time. Press escape, and let's go ahead and do the same thing with this object here, and in this case, I'll simply grip pick here and simply snap to the endpoint of that location. So now, let's just relocate the gizmo to do this to the other side. Simply right-click and choose Relocate, shift middle-click to rotate the view, and we'll now simply put it over here. And now this will be the location about which it actually stretches the subcomponent of this 3D solid. Again, this is all one entity and it still maintains itself as one 3D solid. Now the 3D gizmo is not limited to 3D solids. You can select regular AutoCAD objects like this 3D polyline right here, and simply using one of the axes, I can now snap to, let's say, grab this elevation here, and now that 3D polyline is actually at that elevation. Again, it's very powerful in that it works with all AutoCAD objects as long as you have a style that's a 3D visual style.